In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create 3 simple transitions without using the big snare rolls and huge risers. Okay, so this is my track 5%, which is a really simple track. So I really wanted to go into this track with the simplicity in mind, just because the lead and the chord progression was just, it really is just 2 chords playing and 1 note playing on and off, and then I used variation throughout the track to just keep it interesting. But the main thing I want to show you in this video is how I did the transitions in this, because as it was a simple melody, simple chords, simple bass line, whatever, the transitions have got to be simple as well. But what I found out by keeping the transitions simple is actually they can be more effective than actually overloading it with great big risers and great long snare rolls and stuff like that. So here's the first one, and I've kept it simple, of course. So let's just zoom in here, and what I'll do, I'll play it, and then I'll just show you all the elements that I used and how I used them, and of course how it drops, which is the main thing. So let me just play this first section for you. Okay, and that's it. Really simple. It is the intro sort of first build up, so I didn't want to go too crazy with it. So of course the intro is just the kick, and then I've got a drum loop underneath that. The pad, which is just opening and closing with a filter, which is this one here. And then I'll talk about the transition. So the transition is, so you've got like the intro part. So now there's no filters or cut-offs being opened up on the lead or anything like that, which is that pluck. And I just literally played it on its own, and then the filter's coming down on the pad, and then just a simple sweep, and then a variation of that lead right at the end. And then when it comes in, we've got the kick, the drum loop, which is basically just a closed hi-hat loop, and then another closed hi-hat loop and an open hi-hat. So, and of course the bass, this is when the bass line comes in, and that's your big drop for the first transition. So I'll just play that ending part again. Transition, and then the bass comes in. And then there's a small transition here. Okay, so that's the first one, and like I said, really simple but extremely effective, because it just sets the tone straight away. No need for any fills or anything like that. It just gets to the point straight away, and that's what you want. Okay, so this is the transition number 2. And of course it's really simple. I wanted to keep it extremely basic, but I sort of split this one into 2 halves. So let's take a listen to the actual transition and it coming into the drop, and I'll explain what I've done, and I'll show you, of course, how effective it actually is. So let me just play that for you. Okay, so there is a little setup just before this this transition, and it is this little variation down here, which if you hear the main melody, you'll hear it switch to the variation. And then it goes back to the original variation. And then all I've done here is I've kept the open hi-hats playing, and then the pad goes into some sort of like a low pass again, so you're bringing it back down, and then that carries on going all the way down, and then we've got the clap coming in with minus the kick, minus the closed hi-hats, so that's that. Bass line still playing but high passed. Oh no, there is no open hi-hat, that's just the bass line. And then just let that play. And then coming into the second half of the transition, I'll go back to that same variation that I played at the end of that first drop section, and then just loop that. Let that play, and then just let that clap just sort of settle in. And I'm doing clap on the beat and where the clap would normally be. So let's just play that quickly. And that just builds the tension a little bit. Just let that play. No riser. And this is the magic right here. And I've just added a tom sample. Literally, it's like a quarter note, and it just chops that little space, and then in come all the drums again with that second variation of the lead. So let's just hear that quickly. With the open hi-hats, and the bass line really kicks in again because I've taken off that filter, and then the low end hits with the kick, which always works. Variation. Okay, and now we're going into the third and final transition. Now this is you could say this is the ending of the track. This is the part of the track where you want to just sort of let it all go right at the end, the big payoff. And the way I done that is I sort of brung it right down, and then I'm teasing the lead, but with the drum pattern in the background, no kick, no bass, and then I'm just letting that settle, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything comes back in at once, and that was really effective. No sweeps, no snare rolls, no nothing. Let's take a listen. Okay, so all that is the drum loop, which is the closed hi-hat just tapping away in the background, and then we've also got the open. Is that the open hi-hat playing with the pad sort of dipping back down again. So I really wanted to just bring it all down, calm it down, and then bam. The very short drum fill comes in, and then everything comes in after that, which is all the drums, the bass line, the pad, and the lead again. So what I'd done with the lead with this one is, like I said, I teased it. So I created these little variations of the original lead, which is just 2 notes on C, so it's nothing special. And then I just played around with different velocities on the other variations, and I also changed the pan in. So it's the same, but it's different, and you'd know it's different. So I peppered those little variations all over the track just to switch it up. And there's no stacking or nothing like that, just the same melody and just swap it around. So that's what I did. So I ended up with all these different variations. So I just switched back to this one and then to the original. But now the spacing's slightly different. So there's a bit more space in between them. There's only one bar, but it gives the impression that I'm teasing it. So let's just hear that teasing. And then all this is just a little, it's like a sweep with a clap, I think, or a snare. So the combination of the bass line and the pad coming in at the same time with the drums, the kick is like the metronome to the track. So you're just waiting for that kick to come in. And then kick and bass line combination is always going to win. So the roundup of this video, if you're struggling with your transitions, or you're like, this transition is nothing, it's just not working, or you're trying all these different ideas of big sweeps, of big risers and stuff like that. I mean, I do it myself. This is probably like a 1 in 1,000 track that I've done this, but because I did do it, it's sort of set it in stone for me later on. Now that I know that I don't have to do the big snare build up and stuff like that, I can just use this technique and it will still be effective, if not more effective. So I hope you can take something away from this video, and I would love to see people try this. I mean, people do it all the time, but you hear a lot of music that does have the big snare roll and it works, but when you try it and it doesn't work, you think, oh, maybe it's something wrong with the song. But really, all you need to do is just strip it back and then bring it all back in again. You can get this track in the description, and thanks for watching.